This is my RV. We've got a washing machine and a dryer from Japan. For the internet, I use my phone connected to my laptop, connected to that flat screen. Showers and toilet are there. It's a pull-out couch there. So I've been living in my RV for basically 3 years. The reason I started living in my RV originally was so that I could go try out for the Olympics. I went to Boulder, Colorado to do that and stayed there 3 years trying to try out. Heads up, I didn't make the Olympics. I was trying for the 10K. It required 29 minutes to get into the Olympic trials. I ran a 32 minutes in Boulder. So I'm glad that I tried, and I'm glad that I did it. I would have really regretted it if I had never tried. And as far as what I've learned from living in an RV for 3 years, well, first, where are you going to park it? Well, I actually have a travel trailer. So it pulls behind my BMW Z3 Roadster. It's a small engine, but the travel trailer is only about 2,000 pounds, so it pulled it okay. I stayed up Canyon Road, and then Canyon Road goes right through the middle of Boulder, Colorado, which is a very expensive city. And then right outside of there are things called open spaces. And if you live in the East, you probably don't know about open spaces. These are just basically government-owned lands that you can stay on for 2 weeks at a time, and usually a little bit longer if nobody really complains. You can get a map of all the open spaces from the Forestry Service. I got mine right there in Boulder. So I just went around and found places that were within a mile or 2 or 3, no more than like 5 miles from town. And these little spaces, and I would just park, and if I needed to move, I'd just move on down the road a little ways. Now, the good thing about a travel trailer versus a RV is you don't have to take your house with you everywhere. So that was really nice. At one point, I lived at the very top of Sugarloaf Mountain, which was like 9,000 feet or something. So I didn't want to pull it up there with my tiny little Roadster. So I rented a U-Haul truck for a day for $30 and pulled it up there with that. So that was pretty simple. Pretty simple way to get it somewhere. It's difficult to get it. So power. So I lived in Colorado during the winter, so I needed a lot of power. Solar panel, or enough solar panels to cover this whole thing, would power TVs and things like that. But when you get to like a heater, it's not going to provide enough power even if you coated this thing in solar panels. So I bought a run quiet generator, which did about 19 hours on a gallon of gas, and that would run my dryer or my heater or whatever I needed to run fairly inexpensively. So that's what I would do for electrical. For water, I had 2 solutions. Number one was when I went to town, get a 5-gallon drum, 10-gallon drum, I forget what size it is, and bring it up and use that for my water. And if I wanted to take a shower here in the RV, I would basically heat the water up on a little propane stove and put it in this contraption above my shower that let the water run out slowly so I could take a shower here. But most days, I do what most people do, and I just get a gym membership. I happen to use Colorado Athletic Club because they gave free coffee in the morning and, nice showers and hot tubs and places to swim and, motivation to get up and go to the track in the morning. They also had towel service, so I would take white towels, bring them back to the RV and use those, and then bring them back for them to wash. So thank you, Colorado Athletic Club. I also didn't live in open spaces the whole time. As I made friends in Colorado, I just was like, hey, can I park my RV in the backyard, give you $100 a month? And most people were like, yeah. So I lived at the Boulder Reservoir in someone's backyard for a year while I trained, and that was fantastic. So that's power and water. and sewage. Uh, I had I have a toilet that's here, um, but I could use the gym, bathroom uh, as I needed. And if I really needed to go, I mean, I would use the toilet here in the RV, but usually I didn't use the toilet in the RV too much. I just would use the gym. Got on a schedule. Let's not get into that too much. But food cooking, I have a little propane stove, so that's how I cook. That wasn't too difficult. So that's a place to say power, food, pretty much everything you need to know. How much did it cost a month? Maybe $200, maybe not even. It's just really depending on how much power you need at one time, because your generator is your only real cost, because open spaces are free to live in. Once I didn't finish making the Olympics, I left Colorado, and I had a few houses in Troy, Alabama. And that I actually rented those houses out when I was in Colorado for extra income. Because when you're training for the Olympics, you can pretty much sleep, run, sleep, eat, run, sleep. And that's all you have time to do. You don't really have time for a job because you're too exhausted. So I moved back to Troy, Alabama when I didn't make the Olympics. And I got permission from my city here to convert my duplex that I have here into a triplex, I suppose. Basically turn the basement into another apartment. So instead of renting a place, I simply parked my RV in the yard and said, hey, renters, here's your new lease agreement. I'm going to take off $100 a month off your rent, and I'm going to live in the yard, and I'm going to use your power. So that's how I have power now. Water comes from the house as well. And since I finished the bathroom of the basement, I just go inside and put a nice little bathrobe on and walk inside and use the facilities inside of the house, to shower and whatnot. Some people ask me, why do you live in your RV? Why don't you just, live in one of your rentals? Because there's a bit of vanity that goes with living with a house, like come in and see my house, check out my cars and everything that I own. And I'm vain, and I'd like to be less vain, so the RV helps me put myself in check. Because when I have friends come over, it's kind of like I live in an RV. What of it? So I like that it puts my vanity in check. Troy, Alabama is a wonderful town, and it's a college town, so whenever there's football games, since this particular house, I own a few houses in this town, is so close to the university, during football games there's always people over here, and I'm friends with a few of the professors, and they always come over here and hang out with me for lunch. So it's a ton of fun, and I really, really like the people. So yeah, what have I gleaned after living in an RV for 3 years? One, of course, it's a wonderful way to not waste money on rent, because you can buy it, live for free, and then sell it for the same price that you bought it for. So that's wonderful. And then two, you will get rid of everything that you don't need. And what you do need, you will know exactly where it is, and you'll be organized. Otherwise, you'll live in absolute sloth. So RV living has taught me to be neat, organized, and because you have that gym membership and you use a lot for facilities, it helps you go to the gym more. Am I going to continue to live in the RV now that I don't need to anymore in Colorado? And when I finish my basement apartment, which I'm about to, will I continue to live in the RV? I don't think so. I think I'm going to sell it. But I might just buy another house and be doing another one of these videos in 6 months from now. So we will see. RV life is a hell of a lot of fun. It's a hell of a healthy way for me to live, and I've enjoyed it a lot. If you have some questions, put them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to answer them. I see a lot of you out there on YouTube doing this and starting out and doing this, and since I've been doing it for so long, I've already made all the mistakes. So I probably forgot some blaring questions that are like, well, how did you do this? Well, just ask me, and I would be more than happy to answer any of your questions.